Hello and welcome to this lecture, and in this lecture we will learn how to create our very first basic web page which is going to display some text like hello world. So basically you might know that as we are using Flask, we are actually going to create a website using it, but the thing is that if you talk about an actual website like google.com or facebook.com or any of the website for that matter, these websites are actually hosted on a place which is called as a web server. Now, in order to test sites on the local machine, that is nothing but the computer, you actually cannot go ahead and have a server with us. So instead of having a server or a web server, what Flask does is that Flask actually provides us with a local host server which we could use to make websites and test them, so that when the website is actually ready, we could transfer that website from our local machine to the actual web server from where people could actually access it. So in this lecture, what we will do is that we will basically try to create a very basic web page, and we will basically learn how to use the server provided by Flask. So the first thing which you need to do now is that, as you could see, we have the Flask site directory right over here, and you actually need to go ahead and create a new file over here. So I'm going to basically open this file up, and I'm going to click save as, and I'm going to save this file as app.py, as py is a Python extension, and I'm going to save this file over here. So this thing right here is nothing but the Python file, so you could actually delete this thing, and as you could see, now we have a Python file which is named as app.py. So what I am going to do is that I'm going to edit this file using any of the text editors. So you could choose any text editor which you want to edit the code. So you don't need to actually have an IDE. You could use an IDE as well, but I'm going to go with text editors this time. So once you have this thing opened up, the next thing which you need to do is that we obviously need to start writing code. So the first thing to do here is to basically go ahead and understand how Flask actually works. So the first thing, whenever you are writing some code in Flask, you always need to import Flask. So simply type in from Flask import, not import, that should be import, and Flask. So this is actually going to import Flask for us. Now the next thing which we need to do is that you actually need to create an app with a particular name. So you type in app equals Flask, and to this you need to pass a name. So that should be _name . And now once we have this, the next thing which we need to do is actually the most important thing. So whenever you're writing web apps in Flask, what you need to do is that you need to associate a URL with a particular function. So if you don't understand what a URL is nothing but like you have something like facebook.com/ some name like let's say your profile name. So mine is Ashutosh. So this is one example of a URL. So what we need to do is that we actually need to define particular function with a particular URL. So what I mean by that is that if a user enters a particular URL, a particular function must be performed. So in order to combine the function with a particular URL, we use something which is called as a root or route. So you simply type in at app.route, and here in brackets you actually specify the URL. So right now we actually want to specify the root URL, which is nothing but the website name and slash. So we are going to simply specify a slash over here. So this is actually the root URL right here. So to this root URL, now we actually need to assign a particular function. So let's go ahead and assign a function right below it. So you need to go below it and type in def, and you need to type in the function name. So let's say we want to name this function as hello, as this is going to be hello world program. Give a parentheses, and here let's say that this function is going to return a value which says hello world. So let's type in hello world. So once this thing is done, we have pretty much combined this function, which is hello function, with a URL which is website name and a slash. So the website name is taken for granted, that is, we don't need to specify it over here. You just need to specify the URL right after your website name. So once you are done with this, you are good to go. Now the only thing which you need to do is that you actually need to start up your app, or you need to run your app. So in order to run that, you type if the name, and that name is exactly the name which we have here. If this name is equal to main, that is _main, and again _. If this is the case, then what we want to do is that we actually want to run our app. So you type app.run, and that is basically going to run your app, and you will be able to see this text hello world onto your web page. So once you're done with this, you could save the code. And now what you need to do is that you need to open up your terminal, and you need to go back to the root directory, which is Flask site. So I'm going to type in cd ... and now you actually need to type in Python, and the file name is app.py. Once you type this thing in, simply hit enter, and as you could see, this thing says running on this particular address. So this address, which is 127.0.0.1, is the localhost address, and this 5000 is actually the port number where the Flask website actually runs. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to copy this path, and I'm going to open up my web browser, and I'm going to simply paste the URL over here and hit enter. So as you could see, now this thing says hello world, and the address is nothing but the IP address, which is the localhost address, and the port number is 5000. So this is how Flask actually works. So if you open up the Sublime Text Editor, as you could see, we have the code which associates the particular function, which is hello function, with the app route function, which specifies the URL. That means if we type in this URL, it means that this function is going to get executed, and this thing is same as having a slash at the end. So even if you type in a slash and hit enter, as you could see, the same page is going to be displayed. So that's how you could display hello world on a web page in Flask, and this was actually just a basic video in order to show you guys how to actually run the server or the development server on Flask, and how to actually write some basic code which will get you started with Flask. So in the upcoming lectures, we will be covering more in-depth concepts about Flask. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys in the next class. Thank you.